Hey, Cancer. We are back on the hero's journey at the reward. That's the stage we are coming up on. It's been a little bit since we've done a hero's journey reading, but we are getting into the last quarter of the hero's journey. And this is actually the most frustrating phase, I think, of it, because the reward is something that comes in right at the last minute and something that we don't know what it is. So we're going to be doing another significator reading with the moon. This is your card. And so we'll be exploring the different areas of the psyche and talking a little bit about, how this all fits into the monomyth, the hero's journey. So when you're thinking about the reward, one of the examples that comes to mind for me is the first Matrix movie. At the end, when Neo is in the hallway with Agent Smith, and he briefly, I don't think I'm giving away spoilers at this point. Watch The Matrix if you haven't. But, he dies in the hallway and then goes through that rebirth and comes back as the one. So his reward is that oneness with the one, actually like accepting his role in the grand scheme of things, that okay, this is real, this is not just some fake prophecy, like going through that acceptance stage. And the reward, it is that rebirth in the life, death, and rebirth cycle. So first I want to see what might be going on in the self that would be leading up to this reward. And the last stage was the ordeal. So that stage can have a fake out, like a false summit, as it were. And so there will be one major thing to overcome, and the hero believes that that's it, but it's not. They actually get knocked down again. Because like you can be beat down, but you can be kicked while you're down. Um, what do we have here? Four of Swords. This is the cat tarot. So the Four of Swords is rest. That's a pretty good reward, if I do say myself. That might be what's needed that we're not getting enough of. And like what I was saying at the beginning, that this is the most frustrating stage of hero's journey, that you're coming up on that 11th hour, that like, man, this is it. Like if something doesn't, if I don't get my miracle, if I don't, resurrect in the hallway like Neo, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Probably not. Uh, so you could be going through some sort of stressful situation. I know, I mean, me and everybody else, I don't think, I don't know if I've ever met anybody that was like, I don't experience stress. um, so the next position I'll be shuffling for is the shadow. But yeah, I don't think I've met anybody that was like, nope, no stress. So that might be something that you really, really need right now. And I know there's stuff going on in my life that I've been, banging my head against the wall. It just, I feel like a rat in a cage, you know, listening to the Smashing Pumpkins, of course. uh, I actually like the Blue Light Special version of that song. But anyway, uh, I've been banging my head against the wall just about what's been going on, in my life of like I'm stuck in this holding pattern and I'm getting really, really, really frustrated. Uh and coming to terms with those like negative emotions, I don't like referring to them that way. Like the heavier emotions, that can be tough. It's so ingrained in us to, love and light, like stay positive and all that, which of course, like stay positive, but you got to hold space for those heavier feelings. Otherwise, they just cook. They cook and they cook and they cook. And if you're not getting enough rest, they cook faster. And it's so frustrating. I just, there are some days that I'm like, if it wasn't a public disturbance, I would just love to go out into a park and just yell at God, like about what's going on. Of like, just really, 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 must we? I know the answer is yes. Don't know why, but I digress. Uh, you might be feeling some of that friction. Yeah, are you frustrated? I already gave you chicken. It did. Um, but you might be feeling that frustration, the burn. Things are tough right now, definitely. Uh, economically, just for everybody. I know the um foreshadowing is starting to happen here in the States with some pretty ominous stuff like um, ports that typically get international cargo ships empty. Uh, like, this is one of those moments that's like you thought COVID was bad. Get ready, brace yourself. Not gonna, I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna pan out how we think it's gonna pan out. Like, whatever your expectations are, the outcome's going to be different. So there might be something going on in the shadow here. Yes, kitten. I hear you. I hear you, my dear. You already got your treat. Your meows are lies. You already got your chicken. Uh, so in the shadow, this could be digging up some stuff of disappointment, even betrayal. Like I know, here we go. I know some of the things that get dug up for me with what's going on right now, like waiting for this reward and not getting the like encouragement I need from social circles and things like that. It digs up like the example I'm thinking of. I did a play a long time ago that I don't think I can say the name of on here, but it was to raise money for SA victims. And I was really proud to participate in that production and that performance and whatnot. And a parent at the time didn't show up. Like they were my only family in the state. And the reason they didn't show up to that play was because they had just broken up with their ex, who was also in that play. Like, get over yourself for your only child, you know? And when stuff like that comes up, it can point to the wounds in the shadow, like whatever's going on right now, it'll give you a pathway into the shadow where those wounds are. So we've got the Knight of Wands, very cute, that came out reversed. So the messenger of ideas in the shadow. Ma'am, I hear you, my dear. Yes, this is the cat tarot, but we don't need narration. I appreciate the effort, though. uh, so the messenger of ideas, creativity that is not getting out to the right people, uh, blocked in some way, like kind of like the what I was talking about, because of course being in a play, like that's a creative pursuit. And I that was a big deal for me to like get up on stage and whatnot. Like I'm a very introverty introvert. Like on a scale of extrovert to introvert, over here is like monks who have taken a vow of silence, and then there's me. I'm like one notch in. Ma'am, can we not? Maybe? I just okay. Just sit down. Just lay down. She's got a lot to say tonight. Yeah, you do. Maybe it's because of the deck I chose. But whatever circumstances that you're going through that are stressful and you're in need of rest, like if you're using all of your uh energy, like your mental bandwidth and whatnot, just to survive, just to get by, it's going to be really difficult to be creative. And being creative is a rebellious act. Rebellious acts take energy, they take momentum, they take motivation. And if you're having the life sucked out of you because of, I don't know, job, home situation, relationship, whatever's happening, it's really hard to produce, like to create. And that is oh so necessary just for the human spirit. And I know in my life there have been multiple instances where all creativity had to go to the side in the interest of labor. Because a lot of these creative pursuits, they don't pay. Like, it's really, really difficult to break out of that 9 to 5 mold, you know? So I'll start shuffling for the ego over here. So this might be how oh, that was quick. It's presenting, is what I was going to say. And that would be kind of more in the persona, but like projecting into your ego. So, Page of Swords, student of the mind. This is the like spy card. Hmm. Let's take a look at this cat's expression. Is there hmm, some envy going on? Maybe you're seeing other people be successful in their creative pursuits where you might be in a lull in yours. Uh, that could be that like observer. Spy is not the right vibe for this, but I mean, since it's in the ego, it's like your ego is hurt because you're not seeing the same results as other people. And of course, there's going to be variance and whatnot. Uh, but if you're not receiving, sufficient support, like encouragement, things like that, that can definitely breed envy. And I don't want to be a cliche, but like, just keep swimming. Creative pursuits are really, really difficult. I'm on uh 6 months now of doing this tarot stuff, and I mean, like, in front of people on the internet, like I've been doing it for years behind closed doors, but I have yet to make my first dollar on it. And if the situation was different and it were my day job, my professional skill set, and I was doing that for 6 months without money, I wouldn't still be doing it. And so that tells me how much I really enjoy this. And while I didn't, I'm still trying to monetize something that I was already doing, as a side hustle. And it is very, very frustrating. Uh, it's not stopping me. I've definitely felt the envy too. And I have to keep reminding myself that I have no idea what's going on, like, behind the scenes with them, with the other people who are more successful, how long they've been doing this, the type of grind they're doing. I know many other readers also have day jobs as well. Like, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. I'm going to start shuffling for the collective unconscious, because we might see how this fits in a more macro scale of what is this reward? What are we aiming towards? Because sometimes, like, there's such a strong need, desire to want to know what's coming next. That's, I think, just human nature. Uh, I mean, if we didn't want to know what was coming next, all us oracles would be completely out of business. There never would have been temples of Apollo. And there's a couple different ways you can look at it. Like, you don't want to ruin the surprise for yourself, right? And hopefully it's a good surprise. Ooh, the tower. Interesting. In the collective unconscious, and it's reversed. So delaying, resisting change. Hmm. That just took my thought train right off the tracks. uh, so tower in reverse in the collective unconscious. Are you resisting change because you don't think you're worthy of it? That fear of success thing has always, like, thrown me for a loop of, like, why would you be afraid of success? And it's like a double-edged sword. Like, success comes with more responsibility, more people showing their true colors. Like, for instance, if somebody wins the lottery, and then, like, in some states you have to take your picture, and, like, it's put out, I mean, I guess not in the newspaper anymore, maybe, but, out for everybody to see. And it's like a requirement for some weird, strange reason. But then that person, the lottery winner, all of a sudden they have 12, like, fourth cousins, 6 times removed, whatever. And their neighbor starts, suing them for every little petty offense on their property, like it turns their like dream of winning the lottery into a nightmare. So maybe you have a complicated relationship to success, or oof, this is a little heavy. Have you had so little success in your life that you're afraid of success because you have no idea what that really looks like? Brutal. Uh, Maybe your journey has been particularly Sisyphean, trying to get that boulder uphill. Uh, Rough. Hmm. I'll start shuffling for the persona. So this is the outer edge of the psyche of how this would be presenting externally to other people. And I mean, if you are in need of rest and not getting it, this kitty looks a little grumpy here in the ego. That might be expressing itself as irritability, which is what this looks like. This is a Five of Swords. And if you see, none of the cats are looking at each other. So there's been a bit of a squabble, or at least holding the tension. Uh, Maybe you're a little snappy. I relate to that for sure. Frustration is frustrating. Definitely, definitely. And I mean, the reward here, it's almost like this is the path and the reward, the rest, because that's what helps cool off this kind of um, like inflammatory energy here in the ego and the persona. And the rest will help you get down to these wounds here in the shadow if you have past things that are being, dug up from that, and examine your relationship to success. Potentially, like not only within your personal life, but looking at other people who are doing whatever it is you're doing and seeing how success has impacted them for better or for worse. And this is the Women of Myth Oracle deck. So maybe a figure to help aid in this rest, help open up the path to the reward. Oh, with that crooked one. This deck doesn't like to flip as much. Oh, there's two. Going with two. Oh boy. Is this German? Sheher Azade? Um, and Arian Arhad. This is Welsh. I know I can't pronounce that. Either of these. So the goddess of the moon, very very synchronous, and the storyteller. So maybe you're a writer. Maybe you're doing something with your voice that you're trying to get it out there, maybe just getting frustrated about not reaching as large of an audience in the time frame that you thought you would. Here's the book. we're looking at her here, goddess of the moon, and the wheel is her key word here. Cycles of life, judgment, reincarnation. So Arian Arhad is a goddess of the moon and is associated with the North Star in Welsh mythology. She spins the wheel that spins the world on its axis, judges the dead, and minds the cycle of the moon and time. Card meaning: a fortune change is imminent. There is light and darkness within us all. What goes up must come down. Your perception may or may not be reality, so be open to whatever comes your way. Arian Arhad asks you to release past burdens and future fears and anxieties. Be open to possibilities of the universe. Know that change is inevitable. Judge no one except yourself. So, and we've got that synchronicity here with the moon card. And I mean, very fitting for Cancer, Your ruler, if you're Welsh. uh, and the Wheel of Fortune vibes here, that reincarnation cycle, that the reward is in the rebirth uh, part of that. Let's see. I don't know if I'm going to try the other name again. I may not. The storyteller. We're going with that. Intelligence, intrigue, wit. In Middle Eastern and Indian folktales, the storyteller is married to a king who kills his new wife every morning after the wedding. Wow. Uh, the storyteller tells him stories nightly, beguiling him with cliffhangers, and he allows her to live so she can finish the story, thus breaking the cycle. This card represents boredom or frustration, like we were talking about. Everything seems mundane, predictable, and status quo. You are longing for mystery to liven things up. You may need to say or do something differently. Reveal just enough to keep people guessing. Know that you have the confidence, charm, and intelligence to talk your way out of or into any situation you find yourself in. The storyteller is blessing you in this battle of wits. Interesting. Interessant. Uh, and it looks like she's caught in a pretty literal battle here. So are you in conflict with somebody about your creative pursuits? Hmm. Potentially they don't agree with what it is that you're doing. I mean, if you've got any sort of like religious trauma or anything in your background, uh, maybe that is coming up through some sort of metaphysical venture. Like it could be through tarot. It certainly could be through like mediumship. I could absolutely see that like being a conflict there. That one can be pretty controversial. But let's get a song or an activity. We'll see what plops out. But yeah, so there we go. Oh, activity, archery. Huh. And I briefly mentioned Apollo in passing just earlier. So archery. I feel like I want to get one more. I'm gonna try and get a song. But archery's fun. Uh, there might be a range or something that you can just rent a bow. And I certainly would, try on their beginner equipment that it's not a big deal if it gets a little beat up, they'll repair it. So we got one more activity, coffee or tea outside. The weather is taking an upturn. We're getting closer to summer. Tomorrow is Beltane. And we've got Never Look Back by the Nearly Deads. Some great emo rock. I love that song. That song comes up frequently. So whatever conflict that you're in or difficulty that you're having getting some sort of pursuit off of the ground, set your sights forward. Hold space for the things that need space. If you have wounds in the past of people who weren't supportive, things that have changed your relationship to success, take the time that you need to work through those. And if you need it, talk to a professional. Like, there's no shame in that. They can give you that outside objective perspective and just help you talk through things. But overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates. And if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.